Or lack thereof with the federal government. Let's bring in Axiom Strategies' Aaron McGuire and political consultant Michelle Backus. Thank you both for coming on. Aaron, to you first. You heard the back and forth between two of the senators there. Now we have President Trump on Truth Social. He said the following, quoting, "Surprisingly, Mayor Jacob Frey just stated that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws. This is after having had a very good conversation with him. Could somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is very serious violation of the law and that he is playing with fire?" I mean, not honoring ICE detainers. It is not cooperating at all. Aaron, your thoughts?
That's true, and that's not a new posture for Democrats or for Jacob Frey. That is a sanctuary city and a sanctuary state. So I'm not surprised to see him double down. But here is what the president wants and what the American people want and what the people of Minnesota want. They want peace. They don't want criminals on their streets. They don't want law enforcement abused, hit with shovels in the face, accosted in such a fashion. No, they want to be able to walk outside. And you know what that means? Letting local law enforcement do their jobs. Right now, Jacob Frey and Tim Walz have their hands tied, not because they need to go in and support the federal enforcement efforts, but what they need to do are keep the streets safe for the federal enforcement and for their communities right now. It's an absolute dereliction of duty, and Democrats are playing partisan politics with the safety of their communities because they hate Donald Trump so much when he comes to the table and tries to offer them the opportunity to make things safe. It doesn't make sense.
We're going to play some sound a little later in the show of Matt Finn. He's talking to an ICE protester who says, yeah, we're here to. And then Matt asked him, are you in favor of detainers cooperating? No. Are you in favor of getting criminals off? Oh, yeah, everybody wants criminals off the street. So you see there's just not a lot of attention paid to this. Michelle, Ilhan Omar is now blaming the person who went after her last night at her press conference on Trump. Watch.
Then he came back into office and he reassumed his vitriol. And now my death threats are the highest of the members of Congress. And last night, the man that attacked me was specifically upset that Trump's order to deport Somalis was not yielding enough deportations of Somalis.
Yeah, protesters who go after ICE, Trump's fault. Protesters that go after Ilhan Omar, well, they are, a lot of F words, a lot of A words, and a lot of things in there, but still Trump's fault. But, if that person last night was protesting ICE, she would stand and applaud for him.
It's always Trump's fault. And I have to say, if somebody sprayed me with a mysterious liquid, I would not stand there. I wouldn't continue speaking. I would be freaked out. That whole thing was just so weird. Mysterious liquid, of course, being apple cider vinegar, later confirmed. But let's remember, President Trump was actually shot at multiple assassination attempts because of the same rhetoric people like Omar have said. Fascist, of course, Nazi. We can continue to go on and on. It seems like the pot is calling the kettle black here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Meantime, President Trump putting a new man in charge of rebuilding the Palisades, even surprising the new man in charge of rebuilding the Palisades. Watch this.
So I haven't told this to Lee Zeldin yet, but I'm going to put you in charge of getting permits. I think we're going to override the local authorities because they're never going to have it.
I mean, a lot of Republicans, may or may not be supporting this. Gavin Newsom, you might be surprised to hear that he's against Trump coming in and helping the Palisades, Aaron.
Yes, color me shocked that Gavin Newsom is doing something completely irresponsible instead of putting the people of California first. I don't know who was more surprised by Lee Zeldin getting that job, Lee Zeldin or Marco Rubio, because he didn't get the job to try and get the permits out of the way with everything he's doing for this administration. But in all seriousness, President Trump has shown when he removes regulatory red tape that the success is immediate in the United States, and Operation Warp Speed, getting an effective and and safe vaccine for COVID out to the masses, being able to do that and reopen the economy, it's because he got rid of that regulatory red tape and put that first. If you do that same thing here, where people in California now are still not getting permits, not back in their homes, that's good for California. You would wonder why Gavin Newsom wouldn't be more supportive of that.
Meantime, Marco Rubio, he was talking Venezuela before the Senate. Then he had some rounds. He handled himself quite well. Here's one of the back and forths.
To the best of your knowledge, was Hernandez convicted of trafficking approximately 400 tons of cocaine into the United States?
I'm not involved in the pardon process. I can tell you.
No, I'm just asking if he...
Yeah, but I don't do yes or no. I don't play games. This is not a game show.
Do you know he was... Okay, so I'm just going to tell you he was...
So I can answer your question because I know what you're getting at, but go ahead.
He was convicted. I know.
The president felt that he was unfairly treated. I can't give you much insight because I'm not involved in the pardon process.
Hey, he was in the Senate, right, Michelle? He knows. He had a couple of knockout punches today because he knows how to handle these people. They can't just walk all over him, which is interesting. It was pretty instructive for a lot of senators on how to deal with somebody who's been there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is such a good lesson that I think a lot of politicians need to listen to. He handled himself with such class. He handled himself so well. And look, these Democrats want to have a gotcha moment. They want these viral moments to say, look what I did. Look how he messed up. He didn't give them that. He simply commented on what he could. He didn't try to give an answer just because. And I really applaud him. Bravo.
Yep.
More politicians need to take heed of this.
Yeah. Michelle, Aaron, thank you both.